Hello, let's take a look at today's New York stock market conditions. Before you watch the video, I would appreciate it if you could hit the like button. We are currently in a phase where the semiconductor sector is undergoing a correction ahead of NVIDIA's earnings announcement. The Nasdaq saw its first rally starting from July 31st, an ABC ending diagonal for the first wave rise. Currently, I am looking at the possibility of a double triplet like this. What this three-wave correction implies is that the subsequent rise will inevitably be a three-wave rise. This is a section where I see a high possibility that a stronger rise, surpassing the previous one, will continue until October. This is the 1-hour chart for SOXL. Starting from July 31st, a medium wave size diagonal. If we refer to this position as a medium wave, the current flow is experiencing volatile movement from a small wave perspective. In other words, if we describe the correction last July as a 1-month correction phase, the correction happening in this section is a 1-week correction. Based on the current 8-hour SOXL chart, I will explain the price action as an A, B, C ending diagonal for the initial wave 1 rise. This is manifesting as a volatile up and down movement, particularly within the low point section. It remains consistent with my previous perspective, which also identified this structure as a 1 A, B, C ending diagonal formation. If we look back at how the market went through those medium wave-sized fluctuations last July, then the current flow of activity can be clearly seen as having fluctuations on a much smaller, more subtle small wave scale by comparison. It is a distinct shift in the overall market pattern. In other words, it can be seen as the final shakeout phase leading up to the semiconductor uptrend cycle. If you look at the SOXL 1-hour chart, it is in a section where a rebound is underway based on the $499 level. I also view the fact that it broke through the psychological number of $500 as a positive sign. Looking at the Fibonacci retracement ratio for SOXL, it shows that it is attempting a rebound at the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level of the previous upward wave. Based on the SOXL 8-hour chart, if the correction wave concludes in this section, it will lead to a 3-wave upward movement, continuing the rise for more than 2 months. It is in the form of an A, B, C ending diagonal, and such a diagonal can only be located in the C wave of an A, B, C, or in the first or fifth wave of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sequence. This is the daily chart for the Ripple 2x leverage product, XRP. I mentioned buying at the endpoint of the termination search area through the membership video. This is the section where we achieved a 120% profit compared to the mentioned buying price. You can proceed with taking partial profits in the current section. However, the value for an additional upward wave remains open even after this. We forecast that it will exceed $80 through a continuous upward wave in the second half of this year. This is the 8-hour chart for ETHU, a 2x leveraged Ethereum product. It is a section where a rapid rise is unfolding, along with the breakout of the upper resistance. As this is a section where we have achieved an 80% profit compared to the buying price, the current section is one where a short-term correction could occur through a consolidation or a C-wave decline following a B-wave rebound. If it is a section where the upward wave continues, it would take the form of a 1, 2, 3-wave impulse, a 4-wave consolidation, and an additional 5-wave rise to raise the high, followed by a correction from above. This is the 8-hour chart for NVIDIA. The most important trend is that everything remains in the category of a 2-wave until the starting price of the rise is broken. NVIDIA is currently in a phase where the third correction is underway, having broken below the W position. However, until it breaks below $190, everything is merely a correction wave within an upward wave. This is a section where I anticipate a rally that raises the high once again, accompanied by a 3-wave rise following NVIDIA's earnings announcement. This is the 1-hour chart for Micron. If we refer to the WXY, for the first wave 1 rise as a medium degree wave following the diagonal completion pattern on July 30th, the recent flow can be viewed as being in the category of a minor degree wave. For Micron as well, until it breaks below the Y wave position, this entire section can be viewed as a category of retracement for the preceding upward wave. If an upward movement occurs in this section, it will necessarily proceed as an extended wave. Based on the 1-hour chart for Micron, this is a section where both new and additional buying are possible. The sell target for the subsequent rise is $1,180. This is the 12-hour chart for GDXU, a 3x leveraged gold product. I emphasize stop-loss management through the membership videos. This is the section where we achieved a 173% return compared to the entry price I mentioned. Even after the recent rise, I continue to emphasize the potential for further highs. Ultimately, this is the section where, along with the additional rise from the position I mentioned, an extra gain of about 60% has occurred. There are two ways to view the current wave counting. If this is a section where extended waves are repeating, it will continue the rally until the end of September in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave pattern. In that case, it is a section where an upward rally without correction is possible, with a minor wave leading diagonal for intermediate waves 1 and 2, a zigzag for wave 2, an impulse for wave 3, a triangle for wave 4, and an upward movement for wave 5. Second, if the 5-wave counting has been completed, this is a section where a short-term correction of A, B, and C could occur after the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave rise. Although the scenarios are divided, as this is a section where we can forecast further upside from a long-term perspective, I view GDXU as ultimately reaching $420. If it reaches $420, it will achieve a final return of over 490% compared to the purchase price. This is the 8-hour chart for Circle Internet Group. With the diagonal ending pattern, a price breakout will unfold in this section along with the breakthrough of the upper resistance. This is the section where we achieved a 60% return compared to the purchase price. I view the current trend as the completion of the second wave following the first wave's rise, and now it is in a section continuing the third wave's rise. Accordingly, I am emphasizing the price breakout through the CRCA membership video, which is the 2x leverage product for Circle. This is the section where we achieved a return of approximately 120% compared to the purchase price I mentioned. I am reiterating here that the second wave has concluded, and we are currently in a phase where a short-term 60% rise is continuing. This is the daily chart for Circle. I am explaining Circle from the perspective of a major wave as a running flat pattern. A rise exceeding $300 will unfold by 2027. This is the 12-hour chart for Bitmain. I recommended buying at $14 based on the 4th wave convergence and the 5th wave decline completion pattern. We are currently in a phase where we are seeing a 76% profit compared to the recommended buy price. Even after the rise, I forecast a third wave rise that will raise the high once again without further correction after the completion of the second wave flat. Yes, this is the section where we ultimately achieved a short-term 40% profit, along with an additional rise from the point where the flat concluded. This current trend in Bitmain represents the third wave phase of the initial first wave rise. Specifically, it consists of smaller subwaves 1, 2, and 3, which follow the completion of the previous large wave structure. To put it another way, this entire upward movement, comprising waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, effectively completes the first medium wave, known as wave 1 in the broader market cycle. Accordingly, the Bitmain 2x leverage BMNU is in a section where it has achieved a short-term 86% profit. This is a section where you can hold without selling at the current point. Looking at the 12-hour chart, it's a pattern of 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a section where a rise is possible until the end of August. After a period of consolidation, along with another upward wave that raises the high, this rise can reach up to $36. If you allow for a longer time frame, sequential rises to $50 and $80 are possible. This is the Palantir daily chart. This is the stock I mentioned regarding the completion of the double 3 pattern, with A, B, C, W, A, B, C, X, and A, B, C patterns from X to Y for the major wave rise. In the recent section, I forecast a strong third wave rise that will break through the high once again, following a 1-2 small wave pattern. This is the section where the current price is continuing from the double 3 completion point I mentioned. It is a section where we are seeing a profit of about 65% compared to the Y wave completion point. The current trend is a section where there is a possibility of a wave 3-1, 3-2, and 3-3, following the completion of the wave 2 correction after the wave 1 rise. If it does not break below $110, it becomes a section where further highs can be reached. I expect the rally to continue until the end of the year. I still maintain the same year-end target price for Palantir of over $300. From a long-term perspective, Palantir will eventually exceed $500. As we are currently in a phase where a rotation of individual stocks is unfolding, the Nasdaq will continue this trend of explosive liquidity growth until 2030. Instead of lamenting market corrections, you should be grateful that such opportunities for correction have been given to you as well. For those who wish to achieve more meaningful returns in the second half of this year, I hope you will join our membership during this period to reap the profits from the surge in the second half. I will conclude today's video here. Thank you.